What's up, everybody, and welcome to the show. This podcast episode is brought to you by IBOW Training. As you know, we talk about training pretty frequently here on the show, and the IBOW has some amazing people that they work with in their network. Are you a designer, rapper, sign maker, or beyond? If you want to invest in your creativity for the future, IBOW Training is the right choice. IBOW is the nation's first training organization to offer training in all aspects of the rap industry, from quoting, design, printing, production, and installation. They offer a variety of training options such as training at your shop, group training classes nationwide, and even private design and print profile training through remote login. With trainers nationwide, IBOW offers support day and night by phone, and many of their trainers are within a day's reach for emergencies. IBOW is growing and will continue to support the industry in a positive manner. For more information, please visit ibowtraining.com. We are also brought to you by We Print Wraps. We Print Wraps is the industry's #1 source for wholesale printed wraps. How easy is it to order wraps? Well, all you have to do is sell the job. Go to weprinwraps.com, choose your desired film for the installation, upload your design, and if you're not a designer, no problem. They can design one for you and get your wraps delivered right to your door. They offer free nationwide shipping all across the U.S. and Canada on all orders over $500. And for exclusive listeners of the All Wrapped Up podcast, you can get 5% promo code when you type in the word All Wrapped Up at checkout to save on your next order today. Less risk, no overhead, wholesale printing. See why the industry pros love them. To get more information, visit weprinwraps.com. My guest today wears a lot of hats at the shop and is a glue that keeps a family-run business together. Please give it up for the great and powerful Amy Wolf. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to All Wrapped Up podcast. We'll be interviewing industry-leading rap companies to share tips, tricks, stories, and more. Amy, what's going on? How are you?
I'm great. Just finishing up my day at work and wrapping things up so I can head home.
Nice.
What's up with you?
Same here. Just got home from work myself, and just got myself set up this afternoon, and made sure I was here on time. That was the biggest thing. It's always traffic. I don't know how far you live away from your office, but traffic's always a big thing for me here in Boston.
Yeah, we're pretty rural where I'm at, so I'm about 30 minutes away. But my hours, I usually come in really early and leave really late, so I miss a ton of traffic.
Nice. What do you guys have going on at the shop today?
Today I have 2 color change wraps, 2 UTVs, a 4-seat Can-Am, and a 4-seat Razor.
Nice.
Just getting the projects knocked out, getting everyone trying to get them ready for President's Day for the UTV world, and then just doing all the commercial stuff on the other side.
Nice. Is your like shop split up where you guys do the UTV and off-roading vehicles in one section, your commercial in another section, and then your color change somewhere else, or?
No, it's just one big open space. So we have a pretty large facility, well, what I consider large. And so we're able to probably get about 4 vehicles in.
Wow.
We also just finished up a trailer this morning, a 28-foot box trailer this morning. So we had to get that pulled out so we could get a couple other projects in.
Nice. How much of the market that you're in is the UTV off-roading wraps, and then the color change wraps in the commercial? Like, how is it split up for you guys?
I would say it's probably 70-30.
Wow.
We have, we do a ton of UTV and off-road projects, not just Razors and Can-Ams, but sand cars and dune buggies and the off-road race trailers and the chase trucks, all those things that go with that. Mm-hmm. So that has become a huge market for us, something we really just fell into.
Really?
Yeah, we never didn't do it on purpose, and it's become a huge part of what we do. A lot of people don't even know that we do color change and commercial and fleet at this point. So we're really trying to expand that piece of our business as well.
Wow. Yeah. Given that, what you guys post on your social media, at least Instagram wise is where I follow you the most, is that a lot of the videos and content you guys produce is a lot around like the off-roading and, the big trailers that tow these, off-roading vehicles out there, and a lot of your video content is all based around that. If I actually like to scroll all the way down to your very first post, and kind of see the progression of where you guys have, kind of come up to now. And it's, you have a little bit of mix of commercial, a little bit of mix of color change, but a lot of off-road stuff.
Yeah. Off-road visually is, I think, a lot more exciting. The color changes and, personal vehicles, you can get a pretty exciting graphic and a wrap out of that. But fleet stuff sometimes is hard to, you can't really get that going through the sand dunes. So we just hired Tyler Patterson recently, like last year, the end of last year, as a marketing person. So, he's really excited about the off-road stuff, and we've kind of focused on that. And then we will readdress all the fleet and the color change stuff soon this year. But I really wanted to get him in the groove doing video and content of the UTV stuff, because it's such a huge market right now. It is the biggest market out there. People buy UTVs, love them. It's a family project, family event. So there's a lot that happens with the UTV world that also coincides with, fleet and, personal vehicles. If I have a customer come in and they want to have their UTV wrapped, well, they may also own a business.
Right.
And they come in and, so we make relationships that way. We start the relationship out kind of with things that people love and are fun to do, and then we just expand on that.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it too, because like you said, a lot of these people do own companies or work for companies, and when they see great work, word usually travels pretty quickly, to expand into other things as well. In your area where you're in right now in Arizona, that the UTVs and off-roading must be a huge demographic in that one area, because before you used to live in Montana, right?
Correct.
Yeah. What you guys made the move to Arizona? Was it more to expand the business?
No, that's kind of a funny little story. My husband was born and raised in Missoula, Montana, and I was actually born in West Covina, California. I moved when I was 2 and kind of bounced around a lot in Montana. And we lived up there, and he had an opportunity to buy into a sign company in Missoula, and it fell through. And the deal was, if it fell through, we are moving.
Wow.
So we came down to Arizona and visited friends in June of 2001. It was 115 degrees.
Oh.
And in August of 2001, we packed up my 2 small boys and moved.
Wow.
Yep. So
was that always like a thing to move back to Arizona, go back to the roots?
Well, actually, not roots for us. We didn't actually have any contacts here except for one group of friends that John went to school with. And we kind of invaded their space with our 2 kids. John's always been into painting and pinstriping.
Wow.
That's how all of this started, painting and pinstriping. And then over the course of time, it evolved into signage and commercial signage, but his love was always painting and pinstriping. So when we moved from Montana to Arizona, the idea was to start up his own paint body shop, custom painting.
Yeah.
That was great till 9/11. And then you were here for a month and a half, and then 9/11 happened. So it was a matter of let's regroup, let's restructure. And so he went to work for a couple smaller sign companies, ended up working for a larger sign company, Floresco Lighting and Signs, as their lead graphic designer. And he was there for, I think, 6 years.
Wow.
And then in '09, he just decided I've had enough, because he always had Wolf Designs as a side business. He was always working full time, coming home, working some more at home, and finally just said, hey, enough is enough, make a decision. And that's when he went out full time, 2009.
Wow. So now it's 10 years later, and you guys built up to what you guys are now, which is great. Great. How hard was it to make that transition? Did he already have the clientele, or was it just a matter of, hey, we need to get out of the house now and have a shop? We can't be bringing clients through the house anymore.
In all honesty, it was super easy for me, because I just told him, hey, do what you got to do and we'll figure it out.
Wow.
We come from pretty modest backgrounds. So I'm like, it's not like we're, we have a lot that we're going to lose at this point. So, just go for it. So he found a shop to rent and, rented out a space, and he had some existing clients, but not a lot. So he's just built it all up, word of mouth. We've never done any real advertising. It's always been just word of mouth, referrals, and that's how it's been built for the past 10 years.
Wow. That's amazing. And that's the best source of advertising, is the clients and people you service,
Right.
They're going to be the best.
We really do have the best customers.
That's awesome. And it's, when you had first started, did you guys have like a small cutter, or was he trying to pursue more of the pinstriping and hand lettering still at that point?
No, at that point he decided to go out and buy a Suma cutter. So it was kind of an all-in-one. I think he did have a little plotter, but then he bought another piece of equipment that, in all honesty, we never really used.
Really?
And he came home and he's like, I got to have this printer. I know it's really expensive, but somehow we've got to make it happen. And it was a Roland RS. I just sold that Roland last week. Just sold it.
Wow. That thing was still running?
Yep. And
those things are bulletproof. I got to tell you, I had an old Roland SP540V, and that thing was just a workhorse. I mean, technology wise, was it old? Yeah. It ran kind of slow. I couldn't print that much at a fast pace. But I'll tell you, as far as it breaking down, I never had an issue with that thing.
No. Our RS had its little quirks. It was super, super slow because it was made for more of the photography, super high quality. It could print the most beautiful red you could imagine. And that is the one reason why we held on to it so long. Wow.
Did you guys have rituals you guys had to do and explain to the new owners, hey, listen, this is how it works. You need to be able to do this, and you got to press this button right when it feeds.
No, it didn't have any of those kind of quirks, but just knowing that, if you were going to design a design that had a lot of gray in it, you had to watch it because they were notorious for banding and things like that. So you had to make sure that your design was set up in a way. Oh, green grays. Oh my goodness. Green grays.
Oh,
there's nothing worse than a green gray.
I honestly, I learned the hard way on my end. It was a really solid black, and I'm like, great, this is coming out the printer, awesome, looks great underneath these halogen lights. I'm in the garage installing it. Yes, it's so, you bring it outside and it's got these freaking, it looked like somebody threw up on it. It was unreal. I'm like, how did this happen?
Yeah, we've learned a lot of lessons. It's funny people give me a hard time because I'm very, very type A, and I have a lot of structure.
Which is good.
And
You need to have that for this type of industry, though. But
I have a lot of rules, and people are like, "Oh my God, you have so many things that you need," but there's a reason. So we've just learned a lot of things the hard way, like color matching. Yep. I won't color match anything unless it's outside in the sun. So if it's a cloudy day, we're fortunate in Arizona, we don't get very many of those.
Lucky.
But if it's a cloudy day, I'll wait till it's sunny before I do a color match because it's that important. For us. Like color and quality is so important for us that I will wait.
Yeah, you have to, and that at the end of the day separates you from another shop, because most of the time it's like, okay, we're gonna print out these 5 swatches of red or gray or whatever, and these are your only options. And it, when you can say, hey, listen, we can hit that Pantone color, or we can do, in our shop, we try not to say like, we'll color match. We'll get it close, but it will never be color matched, because as soon as you say, yeah, and then they come pick it up, they're like, oh, well, it's not exactly color matched, but I guess I'll deal with it. And, it's always when those partials roll around, when you're getting away from wrapping a fender and you're trying to get that color of the body correct in your profile, if you're fading it out or in or whatnot. And it's always we try to stay away from exactly that color. It's a tough crowd out there sometimes.
It is. So with different markets, it becomes like, it has a little bit different parameters. So the UTV market, we're always color matching to powder coat colors and UTV plastics. And I do tell my customers it won't be 100%, but there's a lot of tricks that you can do to fool the eye to thinking that it matches way better than it actually does, with the fades and the highlights and the lowlights of colors, and not doing solid block color a lot. So that's why a lot of our UTV stuff has a lot of graphic to it. And if we do a solid base color, then we're doing that primarily on black machines. So the block just disappears and you don't even notice it. Right.
How do you guys get away with wrapping the plastics? Because a lot of those have, the high density plastics for like fenders and things like that. And some of the body panels, like the doors and stuff like that, are painted, which is okay for adhesion. But do you guys use a different type of vinyl for the high density, plastics that aren't painted?
Yeah. So, on a lot of UTVs, we have like the low energy plastics. And we have found that 3M's products work the best. They have the best adhesion, but also 3M has a bulletin of flame treating, which you just flame treat those low energy areas and, make sure it's prepped down really well with alcohol and cleaned really well, and then flame treat it. And we don't have any issues with those areas. Like on a razor, you have what they call, the rockers, which is the low energy plastic below the doors. Yeah. And if you flame treat that, the vinyl will stick.
Now, when you say flame treat it, are you hitting it with heat, the kind of prior?
A torch.
Before wrapping it? Does that gloss it up and do something to the plastic for the adhesion?
That's exactly what it does.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
That's exactly what it does.
I did not know that. And you guys are just using what? The regular 180C for that?
Yep. Okay. 180 CB3 with 8518.
Wow.
Although we are notorious for printing on anything that we can get our hands on. So if it's a wrap cast vinyl, I'm probably printing on it.
Nice.
3M will hate to hear that being said, but that's what we do.
They're not the only fish out in the sea. There's other heavy hitters out there. Oracal, Avery, KPMF, I see a lot of people printing on 1080. I see a lot of people printing on the color change film, the Supreme stuff. That is just mind blowing for me. Have you guys tinkered with printing on, the color change films yet and kind of played with that? Yeah.
Yep. All of it. Like I said, if it's a vinyl that I can print on and it looks good and gives me the desired effect, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And not a lot of, I'd be scared. I mean, we haven't done it at our shop yet, but it's a lot of dialing in, a lot of R&D to get the ink to settle on there.
Yep.
And then you're adding another layer of lamination, which makes it thicker, which, a little bit harder to install, but you know what? To get that desired look and to separate yourself from your competitors, that's what you have to do.
Yeah. A lot of people ask me what I print on, and I don't have a problem telling them because I know that they're going to have to spend some considerable time dialing in their print settings and all of the ink and how the end product is going to be.
Right.
So I love printing on anything new. Like the flip colors from 3M look amazing when you put, different inks on them and you get all these different new effects that and you couldn't paint anything for what we can do.
Right.
Like you just can't paint it like that anymore.
And it's instantaneous. It's like literally cut the roll down to whatever size machine, 54 inch or 64 inch or whatnot, and throw it in the printer, run a couple samples, and it's not rocket science. If you can go into your RIP software and change the amount of passes and the amount of ink consumptions and stuff like that, if you're pretty knowledgeable about that, it'd probably take you a couple hours to figure it out of what works. But yeah, it's just amazing what you can do, especially with the off-roading side of things and what you guys do, because those panels are kind of small and you guys pre-cut a lot of that stuff too. Do you guys template it all in-house?
Yep. So John has made every template by hand. We joke about getting a 3D printer because that would make everything so much easier, but it is not in the budget.
Yeah, it's a little pricey, but yes, it definitely does.
So yeah, all of our templates are all handmade. And then they're digitized, and so everything is cut with precision. So I think that's what helps our product look the way it does once it's installed.
Yeah. Now, when you have it installed in-house, would you guys rather have it pre-cut for your installer to install, or have it just print it out and just trim it by hand?
Absolutely pre-cut. I think if I gave one of the installers a sheet to install, they would walk out. Yeah, they would just walk out. They'd be like, nope. It's so much easier to install a pre-cut wrap, and the consistency from side to side, cut to cut is 100% consistent.
Wow.
So when you're doing it by hand, you have all those little inconsistencies. Now, when you wrap a vehicle, you're always using, the car and the body lines to make your cuts. So you can be way more consistent on a, vehicle wrap. But for the UTVs with all of their plastics, yeah, definitely a kit.
Wow. And you guys are set up completely separate from, the Wolf design, and you guys have a separate complete website where it's a DIY. They can buy templates or design their own design for their particular UTV or off-roading vehicle, right?
Yeah. So utvwrap.com is where customers can go to purchase pre-designed kits. And they have, color options. They have different materials that they can choose from, things like that. Otherwise, they can call the office, and we do custom designs all day long.
Wow. How many custom designs do you guys get like a week for something like that?
I would say about 10.
Wow.
Yeah, we normally, on average, knock out about 2 UTVs a day.
Wow. That's not
Installed.
bad.
No.
Printed and installed. That's awesome. And as far as like the end result or the end goal for you guys, was it always to, when you were templating these, you were just like, hey, you know what? Let's build a website to sell them and see what happens?
No, we really just fell into it. So, we had a friend who wanted his 900 wrapped, and John's like, this is going to be a nightmare. I'm just going to make a kit for this. Like, he's just genius that way. He's like, okay, well, we're just going to take the stupid and the error out of it, and we'll just make a kit. and we did. And then we had an opportunity to go to a show here in Phoenix, but I needed full doors. Like, I need a UTV that had full doors on it. So not just the OEM doors.
Right.
So we hit up Doug Tyler at TMW Off-Road, and I literally stalked him for probably about 2 weeks. Would not go away, and just literally begged him for a set of his doors. I'm like, just give me a set of your doors. Let me put graphics on it. It's vinyl. So if you hate them, you can just peel it back off again.
Right.
And, just give me a chance. And so he did. And we're forever grateful for that, because that's what really got us going, teaming up with TMW Off-Road at that moment, and him, saying, this is amazing, but can you do this? And can you do this? And it just blew up from there.
Yeah.
It just blew up from there.
Wow. Are you guys still doing stuff for him as
Absolutely.
well to this day? How many other distributors or companies do you work with that are in that specific niche?
We work with probably all of them that we can. So a lot of them. We work with SDR Motorsports out of California. We work with the local Ride Now companies here. There are so many in this area. It's just a mecca of off-road UTV stuff.
Wow.
UTV off-road, Chase. I'm going to forget somebody and they're going to hate me.
We can't name, we won't name them all, but just to name a few.
There are so many, and they're all great to work with. They all have great products. So it's always challenging for us because, we want to showcase all of their work as well. And, I can only afford 2 cars. So,
yeah.
It's a great family industry though. It's a real tight knit community, which is nice.
Yeah, definitely. Now, as far as people that work with you, you had mentioned John, your husband, and then yourself, and then how many other employees do you have, at the office?
We have 7 other employees. My oldest son also works for us. So it's definitely family. And he's my lead installer. Wow. He does an amazing job. And then I have one other installer, Jeremy, who's also great. He's kind of a little bit newer to installing, but started out in production, worked his way up. Mm-hmm. Also does a fabulous job. I have a production, and then I have another Cody, and then I have Ricky, who also helps with everything. He's kind of our jack of all trades. He takes all of our vehicles apart, does all disassembly, reassembly, very, very mechanical. Mm-hmm. And everyone in the back half of the office is all pretty much cross-trained. So everyone can print, everyone can laminate, everyone can fabricate, and then everyone kind of dips into installing a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that because one thing we bring up a lot is that, some people are only designated in one lane. It's one designer, one production person, one installer or 2 installers, whatever the case may be. But, it's tough when you're an owner and you don't know all aspects of your business. If John's a designer and your designer's out for the day and he's sick with the flu and he's not coming in for 3-4 days.
Mm-hmm.
What happens with the designs? There's no one, you know what I mean?
We're also fortunate because, that's the back half of the office. The front half of the office is myself and John, and then our designer, Ryan, and of course, Tyler, our marketing guy.
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan, really, has kind of taken over designing. Like, he does a huge portion of the designs now, where John has kind of stepped back. And Ryan is also a fantastic illustrator. So he does amazing, amazing work. And we're so fortunate to have, people in our space and working with us that are all kind of auto-driven, auto-brained, like cars. All of that is what they care about. That's their love.
Right.
So they bring that love with them to work every day.
Yeah. I think the vinyl industry is just an extension of all that. And, I think a lot of us that are, in love with the old hot rods or imports and stuff like that, I think we also have a love for stickers. You always see a sticker on a car. It never fails. And, I think when you put a sticker on your window or whatever, you kind of feel, good because it's like, oh, I just put a sticker. It's as little as it may be. I think you get a little bit more, you have a little bit more appreciation for the stuff that we do when it's like a full panel, a full piece on the side of a van or anything like that. And, it's nice that you have everyone in their own lane too, because a lot of us can't afford a disassembler like you have. That's a huge part of our business, especially with, someone taking off bumpers, taking off fenders, to tuck it all in and get a nice install. I always bring up that you don't always have to take those things off, but it's always nice if you have to take a mirror off. You're not scared of losing a clip or breaking something because you have someone trained in how to properly take things off. And it's nice when you can have all those little pieces of the pie to make, to kind of make your team, 100%,
Yeah. And, you don't always have to remove everything, but we typically end up removing mirrors and door handles just as a standard, unless it's a commercial fleet type vehicle. But if it's a color change, then pretty much everything's kind of coming off.
Yeah.
That needs to be. The only thing that we don't always do is, pull the beds off of trucks, because that gets to be pretty intensive. But, making sure that, the customer understands the whole scope of work, I also think is key. And saying, hey, we can do this level or we can do this level. Let me know what you need.
Yeah. Price A, price B.
Yep.
It's going to be a little bit more for the extra effort, but, we can go this route and get it physically, visually, you won't be able to see it. But if you can't sleep at night because the back of the bed isn't done, then we can do that too.
Yep. The back of the bed, the back of the cab.
Yeah. And those are nightmare sections to do. It's just,
exactly.
it's just little tiny, it's like almost like little ribs. It's like, who cares? Nobody's going to see that. It's
right.
It's a small details. Those types of things is like when you get like a SEMA built or it's going to be like a complete show car. Okay. Understandable. It's, you pull off the beds on those Fords and the brackets break all the time.
Right.
And then you're out, maybe $100 for new brackets or $50 for new brackets, but that all has to, get thrown into the cost of the project. A lot of us tend to forget a lot of those small details. And as soon as we get into disassemble and you lose a clip, well, you can't just go to Ford and buy one clip. You got to buy the whole bag.
Right.
It's one clip, 50 cents. Hey, but you got to buy the bag of 100. Now you're out $50. It's one of those things you just have to know. And you kind of go through those, learning curves. I like to call them. It's never a fail or a lesson. It's just, you learn from it. You don't make that mistake again, and you move on.
Yep. Yep.
You can't give up.
Nope. There are always those challenges. And, that's the way I look at them. It's like, okay, what's our challenge today?
Yep. What are we going to overcome?
Yep. It's going to be there no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. 1 year in, 10 years in, it's the same thing every day.
Yep. You just hope you're not making the same mistakes you're making at 1 year in, that you're all making new mistakes at 10 years.
Yeah. They're going to be different lessons and different times of the growth, but that's what it's all about. Nobody ever, has written a book to tell you exactly how to do something. You kind of learn by fire, figure it out, and kind of, like you said, don't make that mistake tomorrow and kind of move on from it.
Yep.
Now, what's your day in and day out, and what's your background coming into the business? Because I feel like John had that vision, pinstriping, hand painting. Now it's turned into digital. How did you come into play, and what do you do day in and day out at the office?
Well, I always did like his bookkeeping for Wolf Designs. So I always did that as a side thing, but I've had multiple different jobs, always kind of admin assistants. Mm-hmm. Worked for trucking companies, worked for tech companies, worked for lawyers, all on an administrative level. And when it got so he went on his own 2009, and 2010, he was getting busy enough that he needed help. So I quit my full-time corporate America job and just started, working for him. And I really have no reason to be doing this because I have no education for it. It's just a matter of, answering phones, scheduling, organizing, and those are just the things that I was always strong at, and I've been able to build over the years. And obviously I've learned so much about wrapping and products and printers, and it's just been a huge education for me. Yeah. Over the course of time.
Yeah.
Again, I have no reason to be in this industry. I had no background for it. High school education, and that was it. We started our family super young, so I took care of, children, for a long time, but, it just...
Which is a huge job, by the way. Probably more than a regular 9 to 5. I know that very well.
Little bit, yep. But, 24 and 23, and thank God they lived, and
they graduated, and they're good now. Now they're adults. They run their own course at this point.
Yeah, you would think so.
But
that's so a whole nother.
Yeah, that's another podcast. We're on the wrong one for that one.
Yep.
That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, my girls are young, 12 and 7, and it's been, funny watching them kind of grow up into little women, and the 12-year-olds going on 30, and the 7-year-olds going on 21, and it's kind of funny. I mean, you have 2 boys, so
it's so different. It's so polar opposite.
Yeah, it's completely. I have a lot of friends that have boys that are like, why are your girls so smart? I'm like, because boys are so stupid. Like, it's just it's just the way it works. They learn everything so much quicker, and they evolve a little bit faster than the boys do, and it's just it's funny to see my girls now with a lot of my buddies' boys, where they're around the same age, and it's like polar opposite. Like you said, it's insane.
Yep, and each child is just so different. My boys are so different. My oldest one has always been very goal orientated. A lot like me in that way. He's going to do this, this, and this, and he's going to make it happen. But yet he was blessed with his father's personality, which is, real casual, real laid back, just kind of enjoys things, where I'm just much more high strung. And my youngest, still trying to find his way in the world.
Which is okay.
Yeah. But we'd really like to see him launch out of the house soon.
Yeah. Is he involved with the business now with the other son?
No. My youngest, this wasn't for him at all. So he's got a totally different path that he wants to take. He did try working for us for a little bit, but him and I expect a lot out of my employees, all of them. And if you're my child, I expect a lot more. And it just wasn't his thing. And he just didn't have the love for it that everyone else did. Yeah. So he's on his own path, which is amazing and great. And
beat to his own drum.
Yes, as always. As always. Yep.
Everybody goes right and he's the only one going left.
Oh, yeah. Full force.
I got one of those. That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see, it being family oriented. I love hearing stories where a lot of my guests have always grown up in the sign industry and, watched the industry grow into what it is now and take over and be able to, pass that torch generations and generations down the road. Because this type of industry in itself is still very new and at its infancy. And who knows where this can take us. But, going back years and years where, those hand painters, those pinstripers, where that's a dying art at this point, in America, I think there aren't enough hand painters and pinstripers left. In Europe, it's still, very sought out. A lot of people still hand paint over vinyl cutting and stuff like that. And it's a true dying art. But, seeing that generation go into the cut vinyl, into the digital market now, it's just amazing to see generations, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years in the industry, to go from painting with a brush to now hitting a button and the machine prints it on the media for you. It's just mind blowing.
Well, and the level of detail that you can get with a computer is you just can't do that with paint. And nor could anyone afford it at that point.
Well, yeah. I mean, back then it was really expensive when it first came out, and even pinstriping, airbrushing and stuff like that was still super expensive. In the instant gratification of it, it's like, you paint, let's just say you paint a motorcycle, you could have a $10,000 paint job real quick on something like that, where, you wrap it, it's like maybe $4,000 and you could probably get it in 2 days over a month.
Right.
Yep. It's kind of crazy. And, I love the quote, paint is dead because it's dying down and we're taking over that side of the market and stuff like that. But, at the end of the day, that I pay homage and respect to people that still do that now. It's just amazing.
And I tell people, vinyl, I don't know that vinyl will ever replace like the depth that you can get with a paint job. There's so much, like a really good paint job just has so much depth to it. Yeah. So that's a lot of the tricks that we do when we're designing is trying to recreate that depth.
Yes.
Artistically, because we can't get it from the material itself.
Right. We're still mimicking what they did back then and just bringing it back full circle in a different way. So it can never be dead because we're always trying to recreate it in a different way, in a sense. And it's great because there's so many designers out there that just do an amazing job in creating these custom designs that are just absolutely mind blowing and get those types of looks like, wow, that's a really great paint job. And, not knowing that it's a sticker, and it's, when you get that type of compliment, it's the ultimate, like, yes, we nailed it.
It is the ultimate compliment. When someone comes up to me and they're, we get that a lot with the UTV market just because people, think it has to be painted. They don't realize that vinyl can do that. And so, that's our next goal, is showing people that, what we do with UTVs, we also do with other vehicles. Right. So we're really pushing that end of things.
Right. Yeah. So your designers that you have in house are also, knowledgeable as far as like the commercial side of things, where if someone came in with a business and maybe a small
Absolutely.
fleet, they could take care of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, anything from a UTV to a boat to a 40-foot, toy hauler to,
pickup truck,
CTSV, Cadillac, a truck, whatever, Ford Raptor, whatever it is. Yeah. We do all of it. We do all of it.
How many boats do you guys wrap? Given that you guys have the great weather there, I would think the boat thing's great in Florida, but I never think like Arizona. I always think Arizona is just, just like a sandy area. You really don't see much water.
There is a pretty good boat market. But so there's Havasu that's close and things like that. So that's a big boat destination. So there's a good market for that. We're fortunate. A lot of people think that Arizona is just sand, but I can drive, 2.5, 3 hours and be in the snow.
Come on.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep. So we're super fortunate. And then, I can, and that's still in Arizona. And then if I want to hit the ocean, I'm not that far away from California. I can drive over there too.
Wow.
So we've got a lot going. Arizona, has a lot going for it.
Other than the scorcher and heat.
I will tell you, I love the heat.
Do you?
I love the heat.
I don't think...
It's wearing on me now a little bit more because I'm getting older. But
you're 10 years in to the location. Yep. You're still kind of getting settled in with the heat waves and the humidity. Well, there isn't much humidity there, right? It's kind of dry.
There is 3 months out of the year. They actually call it monsoon.
Monsoon.
And so, yep. Wow. So it gets pretty humid. And when it's 120 and it's humid, it's pretty miserable.
Yeah.
But that's only 3 months. And the rest of the time, it's beautiful.
What is it generally as far as like your temperature average?
I would say the average temperature is probably 80s.
That's not that bad.
No.
I take an 80-degree temp right now over 25 I've had today.
Today was 70 degrees. So yesterday I think was in the 60s. So winter for us is, 60s to, I would say maybe mid 50s to 60s. However, it has snowed at my home.
Wow.
So it does get cold.
That's like t-shirt weather and short weather for me. 50s, 60s. I'm outside in a t-shirt. You guys are all bundled up. You guys don't know what to do.
Yeah, I got a parka on, I got boots, like I'm...
Yeah, you're ready for winter at that point. Canada Goose is coming on and 50 degrees. Oh my God. Like when you go out, can you tell like people that are just not from your area?
Absolutely. In a heartbeat.
Stick out like a light.
Yep. Cause it'll be 60 degrees and they're in a pool and you're just like, oh my God, I would not get in a pool to save my life.
Right.
Yeah. If it's not, I personally won't get in a pool unless it's 90 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So, but when you look at it, the split from 120 to 90.
Yeah.
In the summer.
It's not that, yeah. Yeah. I'd still get in at 60. Yep. I'd be that guy in there and loving life. Way better than snow on the ground here like we have. I mean, we got a huge snowstorm yesterday. So, we got about, 5-6 inches overnight and slippery this morning and rain this morning where it froze and.
I do miss it though. I do miss the snow a little bit. I miss the change of seasons. So that's one thing that Arizona doesn't really have a lot of. There are some areas up northern Arizona, where you get to see the fall colors and the change of seasons, and obviously they get snow. But you know, the Phoenix metro area, there really are no seasons.
Yeah, I mean Montana, you get a lot of those seasons in Montana. And as far as like where you were at living in Montana, were you kind of more like rural area or kind of like woodsy?
Yep, all of Montana.
Yeah.
Is pretty rural. But we were over western Montana, so beautiful mountains, Glacier Park, all that stuff. So it's a beautiful area. And when we retire, we'll probably try to find some place up there.
Yeah, I heard Montana's just a beautiful area for, you know, I like to go hunting and fishing and things like that. So I heard Montana's a pretty good area to kind of get all of that and embrace the outdoors, so to say.
It definitely is.
Is as far as like what you guys do outside of rapping, I know you guys are pretty active in the UTV and have your own more or less shop vehicle that you guys go out in and have fun. Is that what you guys like to do, or is there anything else you guys like to do outside of the rap when the doors are closed?
A lot of it during dune season is obviously going to the dunes and having a good time there. But during the summer, we love to head up north to the cooler area in the woods and hang out there, just relaxing. The lakes are beautiful around here. So we have a friend with a boat, which is, you know, doesn't get any better than a friend with a boat.
Yep. That's the way to do it.
So we'll bring the beer and provide the fuel, and he's got the boat. And it's a great relationship.
That's awesome.
So we do a lot of that. Been to Havasu, you know, we try to go to Havasu a couple times a year, just hang out. But there's a lot of lakes in the area, so there's a lot to do.
Yeah.
Even when it is hot.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I was going to ask you too, like, as far as like the UTV and off-road, scenery, more or less, other than like the dunes and getting together, is there like, quote unquote, like SEMA of the UTV, like companies? Like, do they have their own shows and events that you guys attend a lot and go and promote?
I would say the biggest event that they have is the Sand Sport Super Show that's held in California every year in September. And it's a 3-day event, and there are just thousands of vendors there.
Wow.
That are showing off everything that they're doing.
Yeah, from customizing like the wheels and suspensions and stuff like that. Yeah. Anything
that you could possibly imagine for an off-road vehicle is debuted at that show.
Wow.
Yep. Because that kicks off the season.
Do you see a lot of other companies implementing the wraps, or other wrap companies coming in to the market now?
Yeah, the market is getting really saturated. With the cost of, you know, printers going down and things like that, and you know, more and more people being able to do just vehicle color change wraps.
Right.
A lot of people are just getting more involved with the wrap industry in general, not just the off-road side of things, but absolutely, it's become extremely, extremely competitive, and it's a huge industry.
Yeah.
So, you know, being able to pull a roll of vinyl out of a box and being able to put it on a car and doing a color change, you know, that, you know, there is a huge level of talent for the install. But what we do that's, you know, we really try to focus on is more of the graphic side of things, like doing printed graphics on cars too, not just the color changes.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of almost reinvent the wheel a little bit, even though you kind of started one way. You've got to change it up a little bit, because once you become complacent, that's when a lot of people come up and kind of eat up that side of the market. It's either you're the first one to kind of go over the curve and then figure it out and have a handle on the market, or you get left in the dust.
Right. And it's super competitive, and, you know, people, you know, creativity, there's I can't say enough about creativity. Just keep pushing the envelope. And that's what I tell, every morning meeting. I'm like, what can we do that no one has done yet?
Yeah.
But just keep that in the back of your head. Like, because the team, it's not just, the designers that need to come up with things. Like, our whole crew in the back, it's like, what are you seeing? What do you like? What do you want to do? Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because that's important. And when you lose that creativity and wanting to be creative, I think that's when the company starts to die. Like if you're not moving and changing and doing new things in this industry, you just fall to the wayside and you just kind of disappear.
Yeah. Do you guys take notes or like look for inspiration as far as like other people in the industry, in the wrap industry, whether they're doing boats or vehicles or stuff like that, to kind of get that kind of flame going again?
Yeah. I'm a very competitive person. So every time I see something that's new, I'm like, how come we're not doing that?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know we could do that. Like, why didn't we think of that? Like,
Yeah.
Come on, there's inspiration everywhere. And it's just, channeling that and making it work, tailoring it to who you are and what you do. But that inspiration can come from anything.
Right. Right. Yeah. In reference to that, like this weekend, Metro Wraps did an event at their facility and also had Justin Pate there for some training. And I want to say they were the first ones, I've never seen this done before, to create a wrap that was a 3D wrap. So you had to wear the 3D glasses and the blues and the reds and all this stuff. When you looked at it without the glasses, it looked super trippy. It's like, whoa, what's going? It kind of hurts your eyes a little bit. But when you put on the glasses, it's like, whoa, all these different sections of the car. They wrapped a Lamborghini in it. And all these different sections kind of just popped out at you. Probably not ideal to be driving around the road because you're probably going to get a lot of people be like, whoa, what's going on with that?
Right.
Unless you have 3D glasses on you or a little holder of 3D glasses outside the car so people can put them on and check the car out with them. But I thought that was like mind-blowing for me, the creativity and what it actually took to create that graphic to be 3D like that. Must have taken forever, maybe not forever, but taken quite a long time because you're looking at it on the screen and, just looking at the wrap, just on an Instagram post, it was hurting my eyes because it's too much going on. You know what I mean? Like
right.
the colors and just knowing that what it took to create that on the screen, it's just mind blowing. Like it just, that's the type of stuff when I see, I'm just like, wow, why didn't I think of that? Like,
exactly.
That's insane.
That's what I'm thinking right now. Well, why didn't I think of that? And then my next thought is, what can I do with that application?
Yes.
Because, maybe it's not quite right for a car. Maybe it is. Like, what else can we do with it? That's where my mind just goes instantly. And I'm like, but I have to pay bills.
Yeah.
Please hold. Let me do this step first. So that's why, having a team that I can say, hey, did you see that? Now figure it out. Like, come on, let's figure this out. Yeah.
I think that would be cool on a off-roading vehicle. This to be super trippy to see something like that wild. Be like, what is going on with that car? Like, that's insane.
Yeah. There's so much stuff that you can do. It's just
lots of R&D. Lots of R&D. And now all that stuff takes money. Material, trial and error. And, but once you nail it, you be the first one, like you said, around that curve, boom. Mm-hmm. You've got the market,
It'll be the new Chrome.
That's right. That's right. Have you guys wrapped any UTVs in Chrome yet?
Yep, we do.
Ooh. How was that install?
Well, it's all a template, so it works out pretty well.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
But Chrome, Chrome's a challenge for the off-road kind of industry just because it's a delicate material. That's how I like to refer to it.
Yeah.
It's delicate. So, but yeah, we actually do, we have a customer named Shock Therapy who is a fantastic company, and they do, I can't even tell you how much stuff that they do, but they do a lot of suspension and many other things I couldn't even imagine. I don't even know all that they do, but we do their race cars in a chrome. It's a partial chrome and white metallic graphic.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Do you guys put an extra layer of lamination on it?
Yes.
You do? Yeah. You got to.
Yep.
Especially with something like that. It's going to be in the sand and the dirt and the mud.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
It'd be a big shiny thing out in the field running around.
Yeah. So they do a lot of off-road racing. And so it looks amazing when it's being filmed with helicopters and all that stuff. Like, you can't miss them, which is awesome.
Yeah. Big shiny ball, I bet.
Yep.
My God. That's insane.
The whole thing isn't in chrome. It's just got like chrome accents to it.
Just like cut graphics or striping or whatnot, like a design. Yeah.
Yeah. The first one we did was actually layered. So we printed the graphic, overlaid the chrome, and then laminated the whole thing. Jesus.
On a table?
Yep.
Oh my God. How was that when you laminated it? Because you had that extra 3 mil, 3.5 mil, 4 mil or so.
I'd love to answer that question.
Ooh,
but
one of those technical.
It was it wasn't. It was the vision, and then I just said make it happen. So I didn't actually see how they made it all happen.
That'd be. I mean it's almost like clear coating a vehicle. You're going to have a little bit of a raised area, but that's okay.
Yep.
That's awesome. Have you guys printed on chrome and stuff like that yet? You have?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Got all that dialed in. Now, what are you guys using for your printers?
We have HP 570s. We have 2 of them.
Nice. I love the HP 570s. That's what we have at our shop as well.
Yeah.
Great work machines. Have you
are.
Now have you had any trouble with it getting weird on you guys as far as like printing or anything?
Well, we had an issue where all of a sudden it would just stop printing. So we had a connection with the server where our monitors would time out and all of a sudden it would just stop. So you would send a project to print overnight, come back in and it didn't do it. Or halfway through a panel so we've had those issues. Other than that, I kind of feel that they're high maintenance.
Yes. Thank you. Great. We've been having issues on our end too. And we produce a lot of graphics. Like when we're in, these machines are running 10 hours straight. And it's always something like something's clicking or something's not firing right. Or we always have one down every day. And then halfway through the day, it's back up and running.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than a printer down. So I didn't always have 2. We just picked up the second one at the end of last year.
Nice.
And so it was the RS and then the HP. So it was when, the HP went down, it's like, oh my God, now we have to try to get this to print on the RS. It's not going to work. We have to just wait till the HP's back up and running because the RS just didn't print grays at all to save your life without banding. So, great reds, but grays not so good. And just the dry time. So the RS you had to actually dry.
Right. Outgas.
So yeah, we had to outgas it, and people are like, well, what do you mean? And now I have a printer that like you print it, you can pull it off, the printer and in an hour laminate it and call it good.
Right.
I love that aspect.
We get spoiled.
Yes.
Once you get an HP, you're spoiled, basically.
Yep. But as far as like little glitchy stuff, it gets a little glitchy, and I get super frustrated because I'm like, I just bought this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not an easy fix sometimes. A tech to come out, $800.
Right.
Couple weeks later, tech come out, another $800. It's like, what am I doing? What's wrong? Like I can't have a tech come out every time and hit me with a freaking bill.
Yeah,
exactly.
Teach me what I need to know to fix this myself because I can't afford you.
Right.
And I know that sounds really bad
No.
because then I'm taking away their job, but
no,
I just need to fix it myself.
That's why we buy warranties. It has to have some type of like area where, you can send a tech so many times a year out for free. Like you gotta give me something. I spent 27 grand on something. Come on.
Yeah.
Like throw me a bone. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. I've heard the term, and I don't want people to get mad at me over this, but I've heard the term that the HP 570s are throwaway printers. I know, it hurts. I know.
It hurts.
It hurts. I get it. But if you use them as much as you and I do, and you're always calling a tech over, once a month or a couple times, I would probably say since I've been working at this shop, I've been there 4 or 5 months, give and take. I've seen the tech there 5 times. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's like once a month. Basically, it comes out for a bang. You know what I mean? And I've heard other people talk about them and say, hey, listen, when you run them, I forget what the spec was. It's like 180,000 milliliters or something like that. 188,000 milliliters run through them. Mm-hmm. That's when they really start giving you an issue.
Ugh.
And one of our printers is like 204,000 milliliters through it already. So it's already like, that's the one that's given us the real big problems. So what we've heard is that, you kind of take your losses with it, sell it as used, make a couple grand, and buy a new one. That's where the term the throwaway came in. And it sucks for me to say that, but I've heard it more than once. And I don't know if someone else in the industry knows more about it, but we've heard it through the grapevine, and it's those things, the paces you put through it. We're printing about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 wraps a day, maybe more than that, out of both of them. And we have 2 Epsons as well that do other things. But you figure 5-10 wraps a day, times 5 days a week, times 52 weeks. It's a lot of wraps we're producing. And that's just average. It could be more, It could be less. But we're putting it through so much abuse that whole time that a normal, I just want to say normal shop, like a 1-man shop or a 3-man shop where production, they're only printing like 2 or 3 a week, where we're doubling that a day. We're putting it through its paces in a less amount of time. So, when they say, oh yeah, your max time is 188,000 milliliters, well, that will come out to like a 5-year span. We're not even through a year and we're already cracking that time limit. So the likelihood of getting maintenance is going to be a lot greater for us. And I think that's where you and I and the HPs have the difference where it's like, oh, I got to call the tech over for this now. And they might not even have the part in hand.
Yeah, that's the
most
part
of the time.
Yeah, that's hard to deal with.
Yeah.
My biggest gripe with it is that, so we print a test sample for every single project we do.
Yeah.
Every single one. So now I've wasted, 2.5, 3 feet of material.
Yeah.
For every test sample.
Right.
Because it has to load so much.
Right.
That that becomes frustrating. But I refuse to back down on that because, if with the designs and the layer, the type of graphics we do, we need to make sure that, a shadow didn't drop out, or, the carbon fiber pattern that we created, has the right look. It's not too big. It's not too small.
Right.
Things exported correctly. So every single print we do has a test sample for it.
That's crazy.
Every single one.
And that's not being compensated into a cost. It's
Nope.
basically a loss at the end of the year if you accumulate all that.
Just cost of business, just making sure it's right. 'Cause
right.
I'd much rather do that than have to reprint a whole panel of a car.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. 3 feet's better than 10 feet.
Yeah. You know, or, the whole side of a 40-foot trailer.
Oh God. Been there, done that. Yeah.
Those are not good times.
And getting a color shift for whatever reason on a panel that just is not lining up as far as like the color.
Yeah. If you don't calibrate it, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Halfway through, you're like, shit, I got to calibrate this thing. That ain't going to work.
No. Now we've changed the whole color. Now we're in trouble.
Yes. Or change a head halfway through. You got to finish the job before you do that.
Yep.
Oh. Or you're printing, you see banding, you're like, okay, this is going to go not well. A cleaning ain't going to do it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You're going to get that color shift on the clean too.
Yep.
It happens. And I know it happens with like, our ecos too. You get a little bit better color after a good cleaning, but it's, now you're wasting ink on a good cleaning and all that good stuff. And that's all cost of doing business. Do you guys find that you guys have to let out some of the media? You lose like maybe 16 inches, 24 inches in the beginning when you start.
Every time.
Yeah. Or it gets jammed up right in the beginning.
Yep.
Oof. Learning that the hard way too.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a lot of waste in this industry.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of waste. And I have not figured out how to corner that market because that would be genius.
Well, given that you have that background in, know the accounting side, so to say, and know your cost of operations and how much you need to make per day. And if we can write that off, I mean, I'm saying write off we can write off some of the waste, not the excess shit that you print 50 inches and you're losing 4. You can't do anything with it. That's just waste. It is what it is. When you're doing test samples and losing every time you feed a new roll, you're losing 3 feet. It's kind of annoying. You know what I mean? I mean, you lose 3 feet on every roll. You probably have you go through maybe, how many rolls do you think you guys go through a year for kits?
Oh, I don't know about a year. I usually buy probably 2 to 3 wrap kits a week.
Which is good. That's great volume.
Yeah. But so I use the term wrap kit kind of loosely because I print on the 180.
Right. Or the color change film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The MC 120. That one's super popular. The silver metallic that we print on. Yeah. And then the white metallic that we print on. So, I always keep 2 rolls of everything. Well, now 4 because I have 2 printers. So I have an inventory of that I have to keep on hand.
Plus ink.
Yep.
All that stuff. Yeah, that's just money just sitting around waiting to be used.
Yep.
That has to be in there. Plus payroll and all that stuff. And it could get overwhelming being a business owner.
It is.
I bet.
It is. And, it's hard when you have a small company and you're so close to all of your employees. And I'm personally responsible for their livelihoods.
Right.
So that's a huge burden to have. And a lot of people say you can't look at it that way. And I'm sure that there's truth to that. But the flip side of that is how can you not?
Right.
I hired this person on, with the promise of, having stuff for them to do and to being able to, come to work and afford the things that they need and care for their families. And so I take that super personally.
Yeah. Do you think that's the hardest part of being a business owner is having employees?
Yeah, employees are always challenging. good, bad, and different, but that's always a challenge, because if it's just me, then, I can, change or correct, what I'm doing wrong, or, if it's just me, you always have that option to walk away.
Right.
When you have employees, you no longer have that option to walk away.
Right.
You're committed. And so, that's a challenge to be that committed 24/7. And it is 24/7. There isn't a moment since we've owned this business that I haven't thought about this business. And I know that they said that's unhealthy too, because you should be able to walk away and step back and look at things. But you're always thinking about it. How can I do something different? Or you see something and it triggers a thought that, oh, well, maybe we could do this, or, oh, we could do this. Like,
right.
The business is always in the back of your head. It never leaves.
Yeah. I think some people have it and some people don't, and it's nice. And I talk about this a lot, and I know it hasn't been brought up, more often, but, the spouses, your boyfriends, girlfriends, having that be, your biggest moral support, your biggest advocate, that, your backbone to the business, where a lot of us don't have what you and John have, which is you guys get to go to work together. And in a sense, going home together is like you've been together all day, and then coming home, you got that home dynamic. It's a little stressful to separate the two, but
oh, it's so stressful.
But it's nice.
There's a joke. Yeah. So John's got a great personality. And so one day I'm leaving work and he looks at me and he's like, see you tomorrow.
That's funny. That's funny.
Like, okay. Or he'll come home and he'll be like, I'll walk in and he'll be like, well, honey, how was your day?
Yeah.
I'm like, I think you were there.
Yeah. All day.
All
That's
day.
Funny.
And we do spend all of our time together,
which is good.
So
good.
Well, some therapists say no, but because we have the same interests. So
right.
We work together, we play together, we're always together. Yeah. Like, I know a lot of people are like, I could never work with my wife or I could never work with my husband. Yeah. I get that. I don't know how he works with me.
That's awesome. See, you can speak like that. You can speak like that.
Oh.
Because you're on the show.
Right. And he would tell you, he's like, I don't know how I work with her.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because when I do hire someone new, I always tell them, like, you have to understand that this is family owned, for one.
Right.
And then secondly, we're a husband and wife team. So there are moments where it may get a little uncomfortable. Like that, there's some bickering, there's some banter. Like, you just can't always hide that. And, so it happens. We had, a couple people are like, you guys should have your own show.
Yeah. I'm sure you get that pretty often.
I do. And I would be like, I would be that person that would be, blacked out, like verbally, and because I love to swear.
You're a potty mouth.
I am a huge potty mouth.
And you have been
I love it.
So good on the show.
I was so worried I was going to do something I shouldn't.
That's one thing we did not discuss
I know.
Prior to recording, because a lot of people ask, so how filthy can I get? I'm like, hey, it's all yours. This is an explicit podcast. You could say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Oh my goodness.
But
that's
see,
my favorite word.
I'm opening up the doors. See, now that we're almost an hour in, now you're starting to get warmed up. Warmed up. That is so funny.
It takes a long time for me to warm up.
That is so funny. Okay. So you're like, in comparison to Orange County Choppers, you would be more or less like the dad, like.
Oh, I am the dad.
Yeah, that's so.
100%.
That's so.
The
fuck out of the office.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't. So my anger isn't directed towards employees, my anger is just directed. Like I just have a moment and I would be yelling and screaming and all Tourette's, and it's like, and then it's over. Like it's a moment and then it's over. But then there's another moment 30 seconds later. So they're kind of all back to back.
That's funny.
So it's just like, it could be anything. It could be the fact that I had to redo my freaking email this morning. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, how much more crap can I take today? And because I wear a ton of hats, and I'm like the center focal point for a lot of things that happen in the office. So I have a lot of people always coming to me.
Right.
So not only am I responsible for answering every phone call, returning every email, handling all the books, handling all the scheduling, making sure that the back is coordinated, that everyone has something to do. So it becomes a heavy burden, and someone says something and I'll just snap, and it's nothing they did. It's totally not being able to, maintain my composure.
Yeah. It all crashes at one time. You just get that one person and snap.
And poor John, he takes so much of the brunt. Poor guy.
But he
honest to God, is a saint. He is a saint. And I know people who know us really well walk into the office and like, I don't know how the hell you work with her.
But you've set that dynamic, and you've figured out, how the wheels, stay well oiled and on point, and he knows when they get out of your way. You just give him that one look, like, not today. And
I wish.
That's it.
And he loves poking the bear. Oh my God. Yeah, he's so good at
it. He knows those buttons. He's a guy. Yeah. He's a guy. It's what we do.
Yeah, we were married for 24 years. Like, which buttons to push.
Wow, congratulations.
Well, thanks.
That's awesome. Yeah. 24 years. So when is it your 25th anniversary?
March 11th.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You better not let him hear your hesitation.
So this is the thing. We don't really celebrate anniversaries, and I am not a hopeless romantic. So I'm good with it. Like, I'm good with that. Like, I may have to look it up.
25 years is a big milestone. That's a quarter.
Yeah, but
a lot of time.
It's a lot of time. I was 15 when I met him.
Wow.
Yep.
High school sweethearts.
Yep.
See?
15.
There's people out there that these types of stories are out there. And it's great that you've been able to keep that light lit all this time and been able to get over those 20s, when you kind of want to go out and party and get that all out of your system. And, you become, going back to even just having kids at a young age, it's just, you become more of an adult and a responsibility, and it doesn't become you anymore. It becomes about the child and all that stuff. And I think, having kids at a young age, am I, opposed to it? Maybe not. I got mine out of the way when I was 21. Little bit more of an adultish, but at the same time, you really learn to grow up and figure things out a little bit faster than you do when you're just a single person or going out with somebody in your 20s, more or less.
Right. I know that there's something to be said for being romantic, but I'm really a realist. Like, and I think that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Like, you have to understand that relationships are hard, and you may not like each other every day, but you still love each other.
Right.
So, and all of those ups and downs and peaks and valleys, and you just have to know that your love will conquer and you'll get through it.
Right.
And, maybe there's a week, 2 weeks, but, ultimately you love this person with everything in your being, and you're just going to make it work.
Yeah.
And I think we're both so stubborn in different ways that, quitting would never be an option.
Yeah. Neither one of you guys,
yeah.
just, would never throw in the towel.
I can only speak for myself.
Maybe.
But, it's been 25 years almost, so I'm hoping he feels the same way.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Either that or he's really opposed to change.
There's nothing wrong with that too. Oh man, it's great. I mean, that dynamic is so great that you guys have that. Just going back to being able to work with your spouse and have that dynamic. I think I'd much rather work with my spouse day in and day out, just because, when you have those conversations about business and those burdens and those stresses that you have when, a job, a client fell through, or payrolls, you think payroll is going to be short, having those conversations with somebody that doesn't have that same mentality business wise, always thinking about the next thing, what to do next, how to make things better, it becomes a little harder because you feel like you're alone.
Yep.
It's a little tough because you don't have anybody to lean on. You either have mentors or people you listen to. I listen to other podcasts to kind of get inspiration, but it's like, okay, yes, you married, you have a spouse, you have a family, and you have to have that time for that, but you can't come home and unload your day, or have someone have the same, thoughts or answers, for you when you come in and you unload right when you get through the door. And it's tough. It's tough. I mean, business, like I said, there isn't a book you can read or write that's going to give you the recipe that you need to have a successful business. And, props to you guys for having that dynamic. I'm very jealous of it, by the way.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard that.
I just love, and on top of that, you have, one of your children working with you, which that would be the ideal thing for me, is having my kid follow in those footsteps and learn everything and not have to go through those rough times and figuring things out for themselves. You've already kind of put those stepping stones down. It's like, here's the torch. Just fucking maintain it. That's it. Right. It's yours.
Make it happen. Christ.
Don't fuck it up. You know what I mean? Just, here it is. Everything's in place. Just run with it. Take it to the next level that we didn't, or we'll
show me how it's done. Show me how I could have done it better.
Yes.
I always, the whole goal of having a business is to surround yourself with people that are better than you.
Yes.
It does so many things.
Agreed.
So you have, John over here who does this really well, and you have, Ryan over here that does this really well. Well, learn from each other and figure it out and be better and grow. When you stop growing, you just die.
Yes.
Just grow. So I hope that my son, I really hope for him, if he takes over the company, which I really hope he does, I really hope that he's learned from all of our mistakes and can be adventurous enough to make his own mistakes.
Yeah.
And learn his own things and expand it and make it just 1,000 times better than it was.
That's the only thing we could ask for our kids,
Yeah. And I just, ultimately we just want to be happy. Yeah. So when you come to work and it's no longer a happy place, that becomes a problem. And that's a challenge when you have a family-owned companies, because sometimes you feed off of that negativity of a bad day, and it carries. And so the challenge is to kind of learn how to, not let that get you down.
Right.
That's not how it really always is. And so John and I are kind of balanced that way. I'll be having a really rough day and he'll be like, but wait, this happened and this was good. I'm like, okay, fine.
We'll hold on to that piece.
Yeah, you hold on to that thought, because I'm going to wallow in my self-pity here for a moment. I need a moment.
That's
and,
funny.
And he'll have the same thing happen. I'm like, but wait a minute. We're still doing okay. We're still plugging away.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have that, moment where someone walks in and says, oh my God, your business is amazing and I want to buy you for millions of dollars. And
right.
sold.
When can I have that check?
And it's not because I don't love what I do, but, it would just be nice to have that kind of affirmation.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great affirmation to have, that you built something that someone else sees a huge value in.
Right.
and, they want to take that on.
Yeah. I think a lot of us don't think of that end goal or that result. It's like, okay, well, I'm just going to work until I can't work no more and not figure it out. And when you could pass the torch to, a sibling, another family member, or your son or daughter or whatnot, you can always be involved in that and get a little residual out of it. It's just maintaining it. You don't have to worry about retirement, your Social Security and stuff like that, where the business will always survive as long as, somebody's there taking care of it. Not a lot of us have the opportunity to have a 401k, full health insurance and benefits. In this industry, we don't really think of that. A lot of people in the industry are one or two, person shops. You know what I mean? And they don't look at that end result. Okay, well, I started my business when I was 20. I am now 40. What's going to happen in 15, 20 years where I'm creeping at 60? I'm not going to get down on my knees to wrap a car anymore or anything like that. Do you have money saved? Do you have a 401k? Do you have money, stashed away? So when you are ready to retire, what's going to happen? That's scary to think that, I never thought of that when I started my business. Not even a blink of my eye. I wouldn't 401k. What do I need that for? Social Security? What? That's going to be gone by the time I'm ready to retire. And it's having that end goal and having that business passed on where you could, in your 60s and 70s, still be involved, salesperson, whatever the case may be. You would hope that your child would keep you on the payroll. You know what I mean?
You don't know my children very well.
As an advisor, a salesperson, it's like, hey, I did you a solid and wiped your ass. I need a job,
See, I raised two very, very independent boys, and they're like, I'm sorry, when you go, there's no nursing home for you. We're just going to take you out back and shoot you and put you down.
Oh my God.
I love that because I'm like, oh, thank God I won't have to sit there in my own filth.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'll just, just tap out and be done.
And be
done.
I've had enough.
Yep.
Enough. That is so funny. Oh my God.
But in turn, I don't, although, they both have different aspects to life. Like one needs a lot more assistance at this point in his life than the other one. And the other one's so independent. He's like, I don't fucking need you. What do I need you for?
I got this.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Cause it means that they're going to do their own stuff. And that's how I was raised.
Yeah. Yep. Hard times.
I left when I was 17 and never once looked back.
Wow.
Never. I got this. And if I don't, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And, the worst things that can happen, really, are they so bad? Had a family super young, got married young, and we've made it work.
Yeah. I love that. That, you know what? On that note, we can start wrapping it up. I don't want to end up on a negative note. I hate ending up on a negative note. That's a great inspiration. And I was going to ask, typically at the end of the show, I like to ask, is there anybody, it doesn't have to be, rap related or industry related, that you kind of, get any motivation or inspiration for, to kind of keep your day in and day out at the shop going?
That's kind of a funny question for me. There are so many people in our life that really mentor us on a daily basis and kind of say, hey, just give us great advice. But what really motivates me every day and redirects me is that one customer that comes in and is just so amazingly happy about everything in their life. Like that's how that you perceive them. Like they just have this natural kind of easygoing, being to them. And that's what motivates me, because I know that when they leave my shop, that they're going to have something that they love. And I've contributed to that a little bit. And, like I had a customer this afternoon who was just the most easygoing, laid back, happy guy. And I'm like, dude, I so want to be you. And it had nothing to do with, the product that he was looking for or anything, but those are the people that motivate me and inspire me every day. Just have a great outlook on life, because I think we lose that.
Yeah, agreed.
And I love that aspect. So if you walk in here and you're happy, you've made me happy. And I love that, because I need it.
Yeah, you get a better product out of it, people like that. You get a sore bastard that comes in, he's like, yeah, I just want a wrap on it. And it's like, okay, this job's going to go to hell before it even started,
But it's every aspect of their life, too. Like, you can just see that they're happy.
Yeah.
Show me how to be happy. Like, it's like, dude, you got time to go for a drink? Tell me what your secret to life is.
Yeah, right? Jeez.
Yeah.
I would love to know that. Let me know if you get the secret early. You know what I mean?
I will. I think it's Xanax. Vodka.
Prescriptions. Oh, that's fucking awesome. That is awesome. Holy shit.
Not a huge Xanax fan, but vodka and I are friends.
Yeah. Once in a while, those long days.
Once in a while, we're talking nightly. Come on.
Nightly. Wow. Here we go. We're getting we're creeping up to 2 hours. We're getting hot now. Holy shit.
It was old school in the 50s and it worked.
Yeah. I
don't know why it's frowned upon.
Yeah. A long day of work, just come home, make yourself a nice vodka and Coke, or a little gin and tonic.
Vodka soda, and then when you drink the full handle of Tito's and you're out and you're desperate, there's wine. Come on, you just have to have something. That's
awesome. That is awesome. I honestly, I think it's something that, people back in the day just had it right. People just didn't give a shit. It was like, listen, I'm just going to go to work. And once I leave at 5, I don't give a fuck about this job. I'm just going to go home and have a good time. And I feel like a lot of us now are just like always kind of stressed. Times now, it's kind of really stressful.
It is.
Cost of living and different things in our lives. Now, technology is now becoming like, people are getting addicted to technology. They can't get the fuck off the Facebook and Instagram. Right, but
you're so pressured by it. So pressured by it. So you asked me the question earlier, if you see something that you think you ought to have, I see that and I want to do it, but I'm instantly pressured by it, because like, fuck, I haven't figured that shit out yet.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with me?
What have I been doing?
And what am I doing wrong? Yeah. And so there's that pressure. And then I think a lot of us don't have that support, like we were talking about earlier, with spouses and things like that are understanding. Not that they were back that way in the 50s, because I think it was completely weird.
We won't get into
right,
what happened
but we
then.
Won't. But you could come home and you could have a drink and it was okay, and you could be relaxed, and you didn't have to be politically correct. You didn't have to watch every fucking thing that came out of your mouth.
Yes.
And you could talk politics and have a conversation, and it would be okay. It would be okay to have a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
Now you're not allowed to do that, and you have to be so pressured to be correct.
Yes.
I don't want to be correct.
Yeah, just want to be me.
I just want to be me. And, at this point, old people are the only ones that get to say whatever the fuck they want and do whatever they want.
And get away with it.
Get away with it.
Nobody tells them what to do or how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous of that. I can't wait till I get old.
Right? I'm going to be a mess. Oh. Not a hot mess, just an old mess.
Just an old mess. I love it. I love it. That's so funny. Yeah, it is what it is. And hopefully it comes full circle again, where those times can be, you know, just kind of pushed away and it just can go back to how it used to be and, you know, write and say whatever the fuck you want and not worry about, you know, losing your job over it or whatever. It's just,
but in
so
hindsight to that, if you have someone that you've employed and they aren't doing a good job, that you can actually fire them.
Right.
And that's okay.
Over one thing.
Yes.
And it had nothing to do with even being at the job, at that moment at the job. It could be outside of their something personal outside of work. Now you can get fired because of that. It's mind blowing. It's just, it makes me sick to my stomach.
It is. And the world that we're leaving for our children, it just,
Yes. That, I could talk for hours about that type of topic. My God. Yeah, I know. The size, they're real. I mean, these are the types of things that, you know, bringing a child into this universe, these are the things that some of us at a young age or whatnot don't think of. Now, you know, your kids are adults and you're like, okay, I brought them into this world. You know, you kind of do a double take. You're like, was it even worth bringing this child into this fucked up world right now? Like, this is not good. This is not good, you know?
Yeah, I used to run around barefoot, ride my bike, pretending to smoke my candy cigarette, my big league chew, and, you know, come on. And shit. I'm okay.
Yeah. Run around with the toy gun and not worry about getting shot or, you know, a teacher getting mad at you because of something you drew. Now they're calling your parents and wondering, oh, your parents doing a good job raising you? You drew this monster. It's like, get the fuck out of here. This is why half of our kids are pussies. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Stop babying them. Come on.
So the whole community raised us children, me actually, and if we were doing something wrong, man, they didn't have a problem saying, look, you do that shit one more time and I'm going to tell your grandma and she's going to beat your ass.
Right. Or even back then, you get slapped with the ruler in the hand. Bing. Right. You know what I mean? That'd wake you up real fast.
Right. I don't say we have to beat our kids, but there has to be consequences.
There's got to be something. I just feel like it's I don't know.
Timeout was a de-evolution of humanity.
Yeah, you know how many timeouts I used to give my kids? Just go in timeout. Just I'll let you know when you can get up. It's just
right.
I used to get my ass beat and knew never to touch that again. You know what I mean? Done.
Or your parents, you know, tell you not to touch the stove, you do it. They're like, see, I told you not to fucking touch that.
And they watched you do it. Right. They didn't give a shit. They just, go ahead, touch it.
Because they're tired of telling you.
Sure. You're going to be driving yourself to the hospital. Fucking do it. You know what I mean? I dare you. You know? That's how it was back then. It's just, you know. I know. It's just, you know, me raising girls is totally different. I baby them a lot because they're girls. But, you know, if I had a boy, I'd be like, dude, come on. Grow those balls anytime now. Please stop. Like, I'm not going to baby you. You're going to figure it out just like I did. Fall off that bike. You get a scrape. You need stitches. We're going to go figure it out. That's just the way it goes. It's just, you can't. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rule at our house was no blood, no bone. I don't want to hear about it.
I don't want to hear about it. That's awesome. Yeah. I've got a great story, by the way. A friend of mine, we made a ramp. This was probably, I don't know. We were probably like 15. We made this cool little ramp. His mother's a nurse, by the way. She comes home for lunch. It's like we got a day off of school. We're hopping over stuff. We're putting a bike down, jumping over the bike. His mother comes home for lunch. She's like, Steve, whatever you do, don't fucking break anything because I don't have time to bring you to the fucking hospital today. No sooner she says that, spills like eats shit, breaks his arm. I've never seen a broken limb before in my life. this kid's arm was like legit from like the elbow was just swinging back. And I'm like, God. I'm sure your mom told you not to do that. I'm going to go get her. He's like, no. And I'm like, dude, this is not like, we're not putting a Band-Aid on this. Like, I had to go upstairs and her face was fucking priceless. She just gave me that look of like, I am so disappointed right now. Just that almost like out of body sigh. Like,
yep.
Like,
that whole
really?
Mom thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because now she can't go back to work. You know, she's not going to make money. She's got to spend money because now the kid's got to be put in a cast. And it's like, but those were the days.
Yep.
You know, our parents didn't give a shit. Like, okay.
And you learn consequences. You're like, well, fuck, if I do that again, I might break my arm.
Right.
Huh, that hurt last time.
Yeah.
Like, we don't let them fall down. Like,
yeah, not
fall
anymore.
Down, hurt yourself, fail, flunk the test.
Yeah. How about
don't be allowed to do something.
So how about giving out trophies to everybody?
Oh, fucking, what a nightmare.
This topic is like...
We are so old. You have no idea. Back in my day, I used to walk uphill both ways.
Right. Now,
to school.
Yeah. And now they call school out the day before. I used to sit at 6 o'clock in the morning. My parents would be like, hey, you go figure out if you have school. I'd have to sit in front, watch the news, and watch till my school came up in that scroll to figure out if I was going to school or not. Now, they text message, they email you, they call you the day before, already canceling school the day before it even snows. It's like,
oh, how the fuck does that work?
I don't understand. I used to pray to God my school name would scroll up from my town when I used to watch the news at 6 o'clock in the morning before the bus picked me up at 7:30. It's like,
well, you know what they have here? They have rainy day schedule.
Get the rainy day schedule.
So it rains. You don't go outside to play.
Get
what the fuck?
Out of here.
Yeah, but it can be 120 out and they're fine.
Yeah, they're fucking
like
out
your
there.
Your child's not going to melt.
Yeah, like get dehydrated, pass out. I'd rather have them out in the rain than in the scorching sun.
Again, rural Montana. So, rural Montana. I spent a lot of my childhood and we did all kinds of crazy shit and we were responsible for ourselves. But,
right.
It's like, I think we take all the responsibility away from our kids and we need to give it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get your ass out of bed in the morning, get yourself up and get yourself ready for school. I'm not going to come in and wake you up 3 times.
Yeah. No. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yep. Yeah. Give that responsibility back. Yeah. You take it. I'm done.
Well, I think we took it all away trying to protect them and we've made monsters.
Yeah. Yeah. Entitled some.
Entitled demanding little monsters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they had consequences, like you don't get straight A's, you don't go to college, like I'm not paying for your ass to go to college.
Right. You guys
get a scholarship.
Yeah. Figure it out. Yep.
Make a commitment, Yeah.
That's life. I wish that people would, you always hear, when you hear older people, it's like, don't be in a rush to grow up. Now I'm 35. I figured that shit out like a couple years ago. I'm like, wow, they were fucking right. I really shouldn't have tried to grow up that fast because now it's boring as fuck. Like, why do I want to be a grown up for? I have bills and fucking huge responsibilities when I didn't have shit before. Like, I could have just coasted, figured myself out, set myself up a little bit better, and, would have been a little bit further. But again, I wouldn't change anything because I've learned a lot of lessons throughout the years and stuff like that. But still, it's, you look back, you're like, wow, those people were absolutely right. Don't be in a rush to grow up. Don't try to be an adult. Act like a kid. I wish I was 18 again. The things I would do so differently when I was 18 would have changed my whole path of my life easily.
But then I wouldn't have a husband and 2 children that I do and a business that I love.
Right. It's like, what What you could have had and what you have now, you wouldn't change it for the world. And I wouldn't either. My daughters are my life. I would not change that for the world. But if I didn't have kids, and things would be a lot different, you know.
Yep. I'd have been in the military.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, here
totally
we go.
Weird path.
Now
I would have been like, whatever. I'd have been in the military.
Oh, what branch would you have taken?
Probably Army, just because I, never thought about it enough, but I would have joined the military.
Wow.
Yeah. Just the structure, I would have gone into nursing school.
Yep.
In the military and done that. Yeah, absolutely.
The benefits you could have had.
Oh my God.
Early retirement.
I could have been retired at 40.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Or even the school, that alone, when you come out and they're able to pay for your schooling as long as you go, like, come on. Like, a lot of our parents didn't save up for school. It was, hey, you go get a scholarship. You pay a little bit. You help out. You know what I mean?
Right.
You figure it out. I'll pay a little bit, but you're going to have to pay a lot of it. So fucking figure it out. But.
Well, so you keep saying figure it out. That's the whole thing. We haven't taught our kids to figure it out.
Yeah. We give them.
We forgot that part.
Yeah. We give them the recipe. It's fucking.
Yeah.
Recipe for disaster is what it's come down to. You know what I mean?
How many kids did you know? Well, I know of parents who used to do their kids' homework.
Oh, come on.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Come on.
I make my kids cry. My kids cry when they do their homework. They hate it when I do their homework with them. Because I'm so tough on them. I'm like, come on, you 2+ whatever. Like, figure it out. Like, it was funny. I heard this. I heard this thing on the radio the other day. It was a little girl, and they had told the story. A little girl, I think she was like 5 years old. She was doing her math homework, and her mother was always wondering why she wasn't getting any of them wrong. She was getting all of her math homework right. Tell me this little girl was asking fucking Alexa what 6 + 15 was, and she was giving her the fucking answers, and her mother didn't even know. That is fucking scary that our kids, 4, 5, 6 years old, know better. Like, hey, why don't I ask Alexa? Hey, Alexa, what is 3 times fucking 9? And she'll tell you. Boom, there's the answer. Technology now is getting involved with our kids' academics and schooling. It's crazy. Like, we had to carry, 25 pounds of fucking books. Now these kids go to school with a fucking laptop and everything's on that. What the fuck? Like, that's crazy.
That's good and bad.
It's good and bad. Yeah, I get it. It's you got to change.
It's fucked up though, because, kids don't know how to spell either.
You know what? My kids don't even know how to write cursive.
No.
Why do they get rid of that? How the fuck you write your name? Signature. Come on.
And my son will tell me, look, Mom, hello, whoever is going to need cursive. Like, you're not going to need it.
No.
What are you going to need it for? I'm like, because the next World War III, we're going to write in cursive so no one knows what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're going to pass notes.
Yep. Go back to old school.
Because no one will know what it says, except for the old people who know how to write in cursive.
Isn't that scary? Isn't that kind of like a scary thought? If you just took technology away and we all went back to writing letters and notes and going down that route, how many people would be able to read that?
I don't know.
I would be ashamed.
How many people would know how to add?
Well, that too. I was never good at math. I failed algebra, so I had to do that one twice. So,
but I mean, like, in this industry, you at least know you have to do simple math. You have to be able to calculate square footage.
Oh yeah. And that's when I whip out my phone. And here I am, the fucking hypocrite. You know what I mean? Caught me. You caught me. But I get it. I even have the fraction calculator on my phone. So I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. I use it too, but
yep, I do.
It's nice when you go back to your roots, you know?
Yep. And we are officially old. I will tell you that much.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Yep. Unreal. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up, Amy. This has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for sharing, experiences and what you guys got going on at Wolf Designs and how you guys are doing it and a little bit about your family and stuff like that. So, thank you for sharing.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Definitely.
If you want to let everybody know where they can find you on social media or have any questions about even, the off-road market or UTV market, can you let everybody know where they can find you?
Yeah, you guys can reach us on Facebook, Wolf Designs, Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. I think I'm on every social media outlet that is available.
Nice.
The only thing I don't know how to do is Snapchat. Too old for that.
That's awesome.
But if you want to get a hold of us, call the office, 480-888-0202. You can text that number. Email works great as well. info@wolfdesigns.biz. Drop us a note. Let us know what we can do for you.
Perfect. Amy, absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out, and I wish you and the team at Wolf Designs the best for 2019.
Thank you so much.
What's up, folks? Hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Thank you to everyone that tuned in, and thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to IBOW Training, offering a variety of training options such as training at your shop, group training classes nationwide, and even private design print profile training through remote login. Learn more about IBOW at ibowtraining.com. Thank you also to We Print Wraps, the industry's #1 source for wholesale printed wraps, offering free nationwide shipping across the U.S. and Canada on all orders over $500. And don't forget, exclusive listeners of this podcast save 5% on your next order when you use promo code ALLWRAPPEDUP at checkout. See why industry pros love them and visit WePrintWraps.com. Till next time, folks, that's a wrap.